Hi, and welcome to the Demystifying series, where we talk to students about their experiences and answer some of your questions about certain majors and or programs. Today, we will be discussing political science.
Hi, my name is Alexis Bonifay. I'm a junior political science major, and I go to school here at Point Park University in downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I chose political science because I was always interested in history as a kid, and then by the time I got to middle school, I became fascinated by like presidential elections. I always stayed up on the news. And it was kind of like my dad and some people in my family who they were like, you know what, maybe politics is something you want to do. Not a lot of women go into it. So it's kind of one of those things that it's unique for people to go into, and you can do a lot of different things with it, which I don't think people realize. So yeah, that's why I chose it. Yeah, I think by loading up your schedule with taking classes that are more like history-based classes, or even business. Business is a great contributor to the world of political science. Definitely helps you do that. So I took some AP classes in like AP US history and world history. And it's also good because I was able to take out an entire semester of political science course load with those AP classes, so that's always great. And then also by joining clubs, like I did student council, class council, and I did FBLA. So joining those clubs where you can gain like leadership skills, communication skills, it's always great for political science. Okay, my favorite part of being a political science major is the ability to, I kind of have the freedom to choose what I want to do, and I have this ability to learn what I want to learn. For some of like my research classes, I've been able to, find topics that I enjoy. It's such a broad range of ideas. You go from like law to voting to even history topics. Sometimes you even have some math, like statistical analysis in political science. But I think everyone can kind of find their own thing in there that they enjoy, which so far I'm still trying to figure it out a little bit. But just you have the freedom to do what you want. You're not locked in just to one thing, because people with political science degrees, they go on into every type of job. Like they go into business, they can go into teaching, communications. One of my favorite classes that I took it last year. So during the middle of COVID, it was a little bit of like a hybrid option class, but I took constitutional law. So at Point Park, you can either be a government and law concentration or a international relations. I chose the first one, so the government and law. And constitutional law, we were able to dive into a bunch of different landmark constitutional cases, talking about like the reasons why they happened and kind of like the after effects of them now. And it was really nice discussion-based class. We got to write a couple different papers, research different cases, and it's been able to help me this year as I'm working on like my senior capstone project, which I'm doing that about voting, and kind of talking about why the Supreme Court and different political institutions impact voting. So classes like that have been able to help me, and I think they're just really good here. The world that we're in right now, we are so politically polarized and divided. And even going into this field, I had people under the assumption that, I was just gonna become like a politician, and that politicians are just kind of corrupt, but that's not what it is. There are people in this field who they want to do good things, and they want to kind of change the world and be able to look at things from, more of a perspective of, I guess, like an unbiased perspective, and being able to help people. So that was one of those things that I kind of had to look for when I applied. I was like, do I want to go into this world where I'm like stigmatized because I'm like, gonna become a politician? Like, that's not what I want to do. So that was one of the challenges. Probably just another challenge is being able to figure out what you want to do in such a broad field. Because a lot of people, they take the law route, other people go like the campaigning route, but when you're kind of in the middle, which is where I kind of see myself, you have to be unique, and you have to take these different networking opportunities and, think about a broader reach of what you can do with your political science degree, because it is still a liberal arts degree, but it is also like a bachelor's of science. So you have a lot of different options there. So kind of being able to be unique and think about what you want to do and able to adapt, I guess I would say, is one of those challenges. But I think I've been able to do that well so far, and that's just one thing that you got to be prepared for when you go into this field. The process of applying to like certain internships, I had an interview a couple weeks ago. So mainly for political science internships, they're a little bit, you kind of have to search for them a bit more, is what I've seen. by logging onto and putting your resume into different like databases. That's definitely helpful. So if you're looking for more of like a congressional internship, you can actually go onto like the Senate website and you can get notifications, and you can also I get tweet notifications from like the Senate hiring office. Every day they send me different ones, even if it's not internships. It talks about like press secretary, different like office assistant positions, which is helpful because even if you're not applying for them, it's like, okay, I know this job exists, it's out there. But also like using LinkedIn. I've had a LinkedIn since I think my freshman year here. I definitely like that. Point Park has Handshake, which I've used as well. But also just by talking to people and networking with my professors, I've been able to find out different opportunities. So I think it's definitely one of those things where if you go to a school and your political science department is small, yes, it can be a little challenging to take classes you want to take, but also you can make those really good connections with your classmates and network and be able to find those opportunities. I think majoring in political science in the US is interesting because most people go into it thinking that you're going to do just politics of the United States. But what I've been able to learn, even though I just have a government and law concentration, which mainly focuses on US law, you do have these opportunities to learn about different international subjects. So it might be enticing to international students to do that. So like right now I'm taking a global governance class, which is really fascinating. And we are talking about like the United Nations, the United Nations, the European Union, all these different like organizations around the world. And it's all interconnected. It is good also if international students are coming over here and they're learning how to, adapt to living in America. I think by taking a poli-sci major in this country is good because it's a good way to just kind of learn all the different things of the country. You can also critique it. We do that every day in my class. We talk about how, America's not perfect, but we are changing and every country has their own flaws. So I think it's nice to kind of see these different perspectives, and by being in this major, it's opened my eyes to a different worldview, and I think if you're an international student, it can do that as well, kind of on the other end, So I'm currently looking at taking up maybe like a position in like congressional offices, like working in those offices and kind of learning how campaigns work. I also do have aspirations to eventually go to like a paralegal institute just to get into the law side a little bit more. I also have a communications minor, which as a political science major, taking any minor is helpful. I think communications was cool because I did some writing in high school, and I also do some like writing and student media here on campus. So I think having that communications minor will definitely help break into more of like a political reporting, or even doing like PR, government relations, anything of that. I guess like the final career aspiration is eventually I hope to come back and be like a professor and be able to teach, if not at Point Park, somewhere else, just in like the area of like political science, and maybe do some like consulting on like the government level.